There we go. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you guys doing on today? This is Lia Abney, consultant, author, and speaker for Keep It Moving Monday Morning Motivations with yours truly, me, Lia Abney. So, welcome. Welcome to the Keep It Moving Monday Morning Motivation, getting your motivation for the week to overcome any trials or any struggles that you may have. So you can come to the every Monday morning, those of you who are joining me for the first time, to get motivated and to get you through your week. Whether it's a personal goal or professional goal, come join me and also share. So, how are you guys doing on today? Today is a federal holiday. For many, you're probably still resting. If you're watching this a little bit later, please go ahead and hit replay. In the comments, hashtag replay, and let me know where are you listening from or watching from. So again, thank you for joining in, and I hope that this week finds favor for you as you're going through the week. So, well, how have you guys been doing? How have you guys been doing, and how have you fared since last week? There have been some challenges, a lot of things, family and friends, um, business, a little bit everything happening. And then, of course, on yesterday, for all the lovebirds, this weekend, you're probably celebrating your version of Valentine's Day in the midst of the environment that we are currently in. And you guys, I sound like a complete frog. My voice is doing all sorts of things this morning. I can hear it. But we're going to keep it moving, right? But you guys, here in my area has been very rainy. So how was the weather in your area? How is business going for you? How is your professional life going for you? And for those of you who are joining me for the first time, um, one of the things I like to do is just talk about the weekend on the top of the show, let you know how things are going. Mine was slow, guys. Mine was really, really slow, and I am feeling really sleepy right now, but we're okay. So if I ramble, please pay no mind to me. Pay no mind to me. But um, but we're gonna do this anyways. So order some new lights. So hopefully my lights will get in during the coming week so I can kind of get a little bit more visual going on here. But again, things are moving very well for me. Uh, did a little bit of, those of you who don't know, I do sit on the Greater Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce here in the CSRA area in Georgia, and that includes Augusta and South Carolina. So those of you kind of want to know where that region is in the South. But however, our chamber will support you no matter where you're at. Okay, you could be overseas, become a member. Okay, and so if you go into the description, you're going to be able to see the website link there for the Greater Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce. We're doing a lot of things, and the reason why I'm bringing that up is because it's Black History Month, you guys. So take a moment to just, do your own research and learn about others that you may not know about, because a lot of times we're are taught about different historical personnel who have made an impact to the Black community, in the history books from school or because it's a federal holiday. Well, there are a lot of individuals who have made an impact as the first Black African American, which I can't believe even today we're still going through that, but we are because of climate. That being said, many of you know that with the current administration, that additional funding has gone out to support small businesses. So if you are a small business owner, please, you can even go to our website, which is www www.mygabc.org, mygabc.org. And again, that link is in the description if you're watching this, and you will be able to link to a lot of resources that we have available on the site. You can also visit us on Facebook as well as YouTube. And when you go there, you'll be able to watch a lot of videos that where we have talked to banks, we're talking to different professionals to get an understanding of the economic climate for small businesses, specifically Black small businesses. Okay, so we're providing a lot of information, resources, and fighting on behalf. So no matter what city you're in, please take a look and visit our YouTube and our website. Okay, that is the Greater Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce. Again, in the descriptions, you'll find that information. So that's my plug. That's my plug for that. So again, you see, I have a hand in a lot of different things, but they all tie in together. There are some times that you may turn around. And at the top of the morning, you guys, if you don't know, I just like to take the first 5-10 minutes just to be able to, talk to you guys about some different things, share with you some things, whether it's in my personal life or professional life. And I decided today I want to really talk a little bit about what we do as a chamber and why I am involved in the chamber. One of the reasons why I'm involved in a chamber is because it gives me an opportunity, not only as a professional in the workforce, but also as an entrepreneur, to network and also connect with other individuals. I learn so much, you guys, from those that I am around. But also I get to sharpen some skills that I don't always use on my job or is valued on my job. It gives me an outlet so when I'm on my job, I'm not being frustrated and being a tyrant, okay? Okay, so I had to find another outlet so what I encourage you on the top of this morning before we get into our topic is to find an outlet for yourself. Okay, find an outlet for yourself that you can explore and use your different skill sets. Okay, so that being said, I want to thank everybody for joining me. And you know how I do this. I want y'all guys to stay with me because guess what? I will be right back with today's topic.
Black G, Black G.
Hey, so we are back. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, my name is Lia Abney, consulting author and speaker of Lia Abney LLC. If you want to learn more about what I do and what we have to offer, go visit our website at www.liaabneyllc.biz. Again, that's www.liaabneyllc.biz. So thank you guys for joining me on today, you guys. Thank you so, so, so much. And guess what? Not only can you follow me on Facebook, you can also go and find me on YouTube. So just go to the search button, type in Lia Abney LLC, and guess what? You'll find my channel. And please subscribe, you guys. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I would greatly appreciate it. So I thank you guys so much for joining me on today. Over this weekend, I was trying to consider what it is I wanted to talk about. And so one of the things that I realized, especially in this time, there's so many things that's happening to so many different people, especially, and I know you guys are probably tired of me saying it, but guess what? One of the things that I'm learning is that there are different things that impacts our life. It could be things that are internal to us and external to us. And sometimes the things that are external to us impacts what's happening in our whole lives. Like with this current environment, with this pandemic, you guys, it has challenge us to do things that we probably haven't done before. Not only that, we are experiencing losses like never before. And so I lift up those families. I pray God's hedge of protection over your lives in the mighty name of Jesus. I also pray that peace comes to you swiftly and quickly in Jesus' name. If you have, whether it's due to a pandemic or maybe it was due to something else, maybe you'll find loss in your job, with your finances. You find it hard to just cope, you guys. So again, even though I'm a consultant, author, and speaker, and I do speak on different topics, such as I'm speaking on today, I am not a licensed counselor. If you feel that you are struggling and you can barely get out your bed, you don't know which way to go, please, please, please consult with a consultant. Um, there are a lot of resources that are out there. Please don't sit by yourself and suffer through what you're feeling by yourself. Your life is precious and it's golden, and there's a purpose for you. So please get the help that you need. The purpose of what I do with the Keep It Moving Monday morning motivation is to motivate you to pursue your goals, to live life to your fullest. That is my purpose for doing this show every Monday morning. So let's get to our topic. Our topic for today is living in harmony, a balanced life. I had the great pleasure over the years. Many of you may know I'm an author, and I love to travel. I can't wait to get back to it. I'm traveling as an author and speaking. Supporting other people's visions. That's just what I do, and I thank God that He's positioned me to be able to do that for a lot of people. And not only does it impact their lives, but I'm walking in my purpose of pouring out everything that's on inside of me, and it doesn't matter whether I'm in the forefront or in the back. And so I had the great pleasure of traveling to Ohio, and oh gosh, I hope I get back to Ohio. And I'm just going to get a shout out to Miss Gail Lee Gardner. And she's just a wonderful, wonderful young lady. And I adore her. I really, really do. And so I had the great pleasure of authoring a book with her called Borderline Fine. Borderline Fine. So this is the book, and it is a great read, you guys, called Borderline Fine, How to Find Time to Do It All for Women by Women. So this is just a co-author book presented by myself and also Ms. Gail Lee Gardner and other authors who are in here who are just saying, you know what, these are some proven tips that I have used in order to keep a balanced life, a work balanced life. So that's what the topic is about today, living in harmony and having a balanced life. So the first thing I want to share with you is this scripture in Colossians 1:17. It says, and He is before all things, and in and through Him the universe is a harmonious whole. Is a harmonious whole. And I gravitated to this particular scripture because it reminded me that I am only a piece of the bigger vision that God has for this world. Period. I'm only a piece, a minute piece of this greater vision. But then I also reminded me, you know what? There are some things that I need to do to ensure that I keep harmony and to keep my life balanced. And how do I do that? Because there are some times that we put our hands on things, we turn around and we get involved in things where our lives get out of balance. And sometimes we put too much on our plate. And for those of you that are that, and I'm hoping I can get somebody to come and talk about this because it's called imposter syndrome. And I want to have a talk about that. Matter of fact, I'm going to have to find somebody that will come onto a show and do that for me, with me, and talk about imposter syndrome. Because what happens is you end up taking on these characteristics or traits that hinders you from having a balanced and harmonious life and living in harmony. A lot of times we're taking on things that's really not your assignment. So even on this week, and having a conversation with a young lady. You know what? We had to streamline some things to say, is this something we really want to do? You know, do we have the time to put the effort into it in order to make it a success? Because you don't want to turn around, take on something, whether it's a relationship, whether it is a grand idea, or some task, and you're not able to follow through. And now, hear me out. There are some things that you're meant to do, and then life happens. Life happens because life is always evolving. Okay, that's something that we need to understand. Life is always evolving. Even when we turn around, and I'm going to use the pandemic as an example, even with the pandemic, it is constantly, the strands for this pandemic is constantly changing. Okay, even when we look at our economy, it's constantly changing. Okay, as different players get involved, as different things are happening, it changes things. Okay, it's the same thing as when you make a cake. You turn around and you get all the ingredients. Once you put all those ingredients together, you do the dry ingredients, you do the wet ingredients, and you mix those two together. It forms this semi-solid, it becomes this semi-solid state. Okay, and then once you turn around and you apply heat to it, come on, y'all. Once you, oh God, you're so good. Once you apply heat to it, then it becomes this this edible, fluffy, delicious. But if you were, concoction, which is now a cake, okay, which we know as a cake. And once it does that, and then you add, the sweet covering over it, and now you have this sweet cake with icing on it. But in its natural state, when you turn around and it is different. You had the egg, you had the milk, you had the flour, you had you know, uh, the different ingredients. If you were to consume them in their natural state, it wouldn't taste good. I mean, come on now. Some of us get a little flour and you get it on your hand like, you know. But once you mix all that stuff together, it becomes something different. And I say all of this because depending on whether things are happening in its natural state in your life, or whether there is a combination of different things that are happening, can either provide a pleasing experience or it can cause a negative experience for you. I say all of this to say this, that there are things that are going to be happening. But in and through, as it says in Colossians 1:7, that all things, and in and through him, the universe is harmonious whole. So despite the different things that are happening, as we come together and we're walking in our own purpose and having a harmonious life, as you are putting certain things together, things become whole. Okay, a harmonious whole. Now, there are certain things, and I didn't add it on here, but the definition for harmonious is things working together in harmony. In other words, there is a state when things are balanced. Okay, when things are balanced. So that's the definition for harmonious. But there are certain things that I want to bring to your attention when it comes to living a harmonious life. Okay, so having a balanced life is dependent on several things. And the first thing is your relationship. And of course, for me, being a person of who is a believer in Christ Jesus, and many of you who are not, maybe this is not for you, but wherever your belief is, that's what you tend to gravitate to. And a lot of times it's based on the relationships that you have around you. Okay, having it, are those relationships that you are engaging, does it bring you balance? Does it bring you a sense of peace? In other words, when you're interacting with different people in your life, um, do you find yourself in conflict? Now, don't get me wrong, there's some seasons of conflict no matter who you have a relationship with, but in the end, do you find peace? Do you find peace? One of the things that as I was thinking about this particular topic on this weekend, I realized that the relationships I have with different people on this earth is a reflection of the relationship I have with Christ. And one of the things I realized is that, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but there are certain things and certain characteristics that are needed in order to have a good relationship with other people. You know, and what comes to my mind right now is Galatians, when they talk about the fruit of the Spirit. Okay, the fruit of the Spirit, you know, where there's kindness, you have joy, you're able to suffer long through some of the challenges within relationships. And so the first thing that I gravitate to in order to have a balanced life is the relationships that I have around me with my children, you guys, with the people on my job. I have to have some type of balanced relationship, even though that one right there escapes me. And you guys, I am trying. I really am. And some of you are like, you know what? That's me too, Miss Leah. But that's the hardest one. That is the hardest one. And so I'm like, I have to constantly remind myself, Leah, you have to be a reflection of um, what a relationship looks like. Because if you have a relationship with Christ and he's asking you to um, reflect these certain characteristics, patience, long suffering, kindness, you know, um, merciful, being merciful, showing mercy. Those are the things I have to show on my job when I'm working with people. And so sometimes I have to remind myself, even though it is very challenging for me, you guys, I am a work in progress. I am a work in progress. But, because, one of the things that I realized when it comes to relationships is that there are certain personalities and other people have different traits that you're like, oh wow, you know what? It's not so much that you dislike the person, it's behavior that rubs you wrong. Okay, so how do you respond emotionally? Matter of fact, I'm learning this right now in my college course. This is amazing when it comes to emotional intelligence. So how are we relating to one another in our relationship so that we're bringing balance? And that becomes very key. So the next thing I spend a lot of time on that. I'm sorry, but that is the base for having a balanced life. What do your relationships look like? I'm going back to that. What do your relationships look like? What do your relationships look like with your children? What do your relationship look like with your parents? What do relationships look like for those who are close to you and those that you associate, through other means, whether it's your business or on your job? Your coworkers. How are your relationships on your coworkers? One of the key things that and I'm going to pick on Chick-fil-A because they have a Christian-based foundation for how they operate. But I kind of wonder, what is their relationships like on the outside? I know what they're saying and how they're presenting themselves to the customers, but I wonder, what does that relationship look like when they're internally to that organization that makes them run the way that they have successfully? Come on now, y'all, successfully for over the years that they could close on Sunday. But then every other and still make a profit, but yet there are other businesses that has to run 7 days a week. 7 days a week. But this particular restaurant, Chick-fil-A, can close on Sunday based on their moral values and what they have established in their culture, because that is a relationship building that has occurred there. I say that because there are some times that we have to be a reflection of what relationships look like on our job so you can create a culture of harmony and balance. There. I said it. And so the next tip that I have for you is having a balanced life is dependent on your growth and development, spiritually, emotionally, and relationally. I already talked about the relational part, but emotionally and spiritually, you need to have that balance between all three because it helps you to what? It helps you to cope with different challenges that are in your life. And I want to share this with you. In 1 Peter 3:8, it says, finally, be all like-minded, compassionate, loving as brothers, tenderhearted, and courteous. And so there are certain traits, as I had spoken at the top of this topic, when I was talking about relationships, that we are to exhibit and share and show in order to have a balanced life. It keeps your mind at peace, you guys. It keeps your mind at peace. So one of the other things is that number 3, and having a balanced life is dependent on not acknowledging who we are and accept your identity. That includes your gifts and purposes and what makes you unique. What makes you unique. I have come to accept my uniqueness. I understand that sometimes when I get around people, they are like, I probably rub some people raw. They probably think I'm too forward. They may think that I'm mean. For some, they probably think I'm, you know, off standoffish. I mean, there are a lot of things that I can think of, but there are some people that turn around, oh no, she's kind, she's helpful. And then there are these other traits. And I've come to accept my own identity and who I am. And the reason why is because if I cannot accept myself, I'm always going to be in fear that I'm either going to um, offend somebody. I may be in fear that nobody would like me, which not that I don't care, because I don't want to say, well, I don't care if nobody like me. That's not what I'm saying. It's not a thought for me to keep my mind on where I meditate on that so much that I start feeling bad for myself, or I start feeling discouraged. Okay. Is that a real thing? It is a real thing when you're have that heaviness, especially if you're a young person who has, and because this thing is really, really real. You know, if you're bullied or anything like that, know your uniqueness is what makes you who you are. So it's not you, the individual, that they are actually picking on. It's because you're unique. And you know, that green monster will raise up. That green monster will raise up like real, like real. It will raise up. But having a balanced life is dependent on you acknowledging who you are and accepting your own identity and not adopting somebody else's identity of who they think that you should be because they're uncomfortable with you. Okay. And I can tell you, a lot of those people, you have to put them at arm's length. If there are family members, put them at arm's length. You can still love them and love them from afar, you know, just love them from afar. So again, having a balanced life is dependent on, I shared 3 of them so far. The first one was having a relationship, is based on your relationships. The second one is based on the growth and development as you're moving through life, from work and from your personal life, and those who you are in relationships spiritually, emotionally, and relationally. And then the third one is dependent on acknowledging who we are and accepting our own identities, our own gifts, and our purpose, and what makes me unique. Guess what? My gifts are going to be different than somebody else's. And whether I'm working in the forefront or where I'm working behind the scenes, my gifts are still unique and valuable. Okay, your gifts are still unique and valuable. The last one that I have is acknowledge knowledge. um it says here, knowledge greater than our own. And what I mean by that is um having a balanced life is dependent on the knowledge that you gain. Okay, the knowledge. um because I understand that I have to continually um grow myself. I have to continually gain knowledge and understanding and wisdom through the relationships that I have, which was number 1, right? through my spiritual growth, my emotional growth, and my relational growth. Okay, that was number two. And then also, I gained that understanding and wisdom through number three, which is through by acknowledging my own uniqueness and walking in my own purpose. So one of the other things that I understand is I gain knowledge that is greater than understanding and acknowledging that there is a knowledge that's greater than my own through understanding and wisdom. Where does that come through? That comes through the relationships I have. That comes through the people I connect with on a regular basis. That comes through this what I'm reading at times. Okay, what I'm reading and what I'm getting myself involved in. So as I gain that knowledge, I am then be able to respond to different things that happen internally to my life and externally to my life that would create a balance for my well-being. Because this is about you. This having a balanced life is not about anybody else but you. I'm gonna say that right now. Hear me loud and clear. Having a balanced life is not about anybody else but you. It is all about you. This is a time you could be selfish enough to say, you know what, I'm going to create a balanced life for myself. And I'm going to do that because number one, I want to make sure that I have a valuable relationship. And if anybody is in my life that is not bringing value to me, this person can no longer be a part of my life. And being okay with saying no. And I know what you're saying. Well, Leah, sometimes it's hard for me. I cannot say no to this person. And I get it. And I get it. Set boundaries for yourself. Borderline fine is also about setting boundaries for your life. Having a balanced life also requires you to set boundaries. Set those boundaries. What you will and will not accept that. If it brings disharmony to your life, those are the things you need to assess real closely because your life depends on it. And I'm not trying to be, morbid or anything like that, but your life does depend on it. Okay? Look, a balanced life impacts how we view ourselves in the world, how you are viewing yourself in the world. What is the impact you want to leave in the world? And when I say the world, I mean within the capacity that you operate. So if you are a homeowner or, most of us are stay at home right now, but if that is your role, then you'll know how to bring balance to that space. If you're an entrepreneur, you'll know how to bring balance to your space. Whether you are working in a storefront or you are a home base. It gives us a different perspective on our circumstances to what? Hashtag keep it moving. When we bring balance to our life, through our relationships, through our growth and development, acknowledging who we are and accepting our own identity, and then also understanding that there is a knowledge that is greater than our own, which is our understanding and which brings understanding and wisdom. And so through that, is where it gives us a different perspective on our circumstances to hashtag keep it moving. So I want to thank you guys for joining me on today for the Keep It Moving Monday Morning Motivation Show. Again, if you want, my name is Lia Abney, and I thank you guys for joining me. If you want to learn more about what we have to offer, and you want to book a consultation with me, please go to my website at liaabneyllc.biz. And you guys, I hope that you guys have a very blessed week. And I hope that you stay tuned on next week as I come to you with the Keep It Moving Monday Morning Motivation Show with me, Lia Abney.